Hi, it's Nita from Angelic Awakening. Welcome. So I'm having a beautiful video today, and I'm just starting a little bit early because I just feel it's divine timing. And my purpose today really is to come in and channel in the energies of the ancient civilizations prior to us through man, and just connecting into the Akashic record field around Earth and what the angels want us to know moving forward. So a lot of this is just going to be not rehashing any old energy. It's to do with moving forward. It's to do with realizations. It's to do with clarity. It's to do with understanding about, as man and civilizations on Earth in particular, we are going to talk about galactic civilizations, but more so Egypt, Lemuria and Atlantis. And what we're going to cover today is the general themes of those civilizations and what we learnt from it and how we can apply to the here and now. So that's where the energy is going. And I've got a lot of Ascended Masters here today and a lot of Egyptian kind of god and goddesses, as well as just beings who want to come in, animal spirits. It's a very much a collective video around ancient civilizations, and it kind of incorporates animals as well, because animals were important in ancient civilizations, crystals, Lemuria, Atlantis. So it's a very much a collective video, and that's what I'm going to cover. So as always, we're always going to start with an invocation and prayer. So our purpose today is to connect into the energy of Serpes, who is the beautiful being, Ascended Master, who's going to channel through as one voice today through me around ancient civilizations and how we can learn from this and move forward and apply it to our new 5D energy. So we open our energy and our hearts to this great knowledge and wisdom of the great Brotherhood of Light. We give thanks to and honor to all the Ascended Masters, the God and Goddesses of ancient Egypt who are here today, the energy of Lemuria, the energy of the Palladian energy as well, and the angel angel energy that overlights us and keeps us protected and safe. So we give thanks to each and every person watching this video who's going to gain the most out of this video, and so it is. Welcome. I'm so excited. I actually haven't ever done a video like this before, so it's quite new energy. And leading up to this course, actually, I've been really tapping into my Akashic records with Archangel Metatron and working through past lives in ancient Egypt in particular, and doing some healing around that, as well as some integration, as well as downloading frequencies that I need in the here and now. So the first thing I'm going to start with is introducing the Ascended Master that we're predominantly working with today, and this is called Serpes, and his card says Ascension, move into your true self, rise above the darkness, the light is here. So Serpes predominantly works within the Egyptian energy, and he helps people ascend through understanding, and he's saying that there's a portal that's opening around the ancient Egyptian knowledge, and what's happening is the frequencies of our past civilizations are coming to the fore, and a lot of us are starting to remember our lifetimes more clearly and more vivid than ever. And the reason why they want this to happen is so that we all start to do the healing required around it, so we don't keep repeating the patterns of the past. But also it's to bring forth all that knowledge and wisdom that we kind of gained through those civilizations, because really there's a lot of good teaching within that. So Serpes today really just wants us to kind of go through what we learnt through those civilizations and what it meant to be human at those times, and how we can apply this knowledge moving forward without repeating the same kind of errors that we made at those times, or the learning he calls it, so that we kind of move on from that energy and don't keep kind of psychically, karmically bringing it back all the time. So Serpes is really excited that we're channeling this video today, this energy, and he's just going to be working through with me today in tandem, just kind of also with my personal experiences, because I remember a lot of my lifetimes in Egypt, and I've actually personally been to Egypt in this lifetime with my husband and my baby. So ancient Egypt, when I went back, I will share that experience with you. So I've got some artifacts here in the background that are Egyptian as well, that actually are from Egypt. So we've got this beautiful kind of thing my husband got, and it's got the Ankh, which is one of the sacred symbols of Egypt. And we've got Tutankhamun over there, just introducing some energies. This is, I think, I can't particularly remember the name of this, but that's this kind of, I think it's the guardian of the underworld. We've got this beautiful thing here. It's like the beetle, the scarab beetle, and then we've got this one here. So we've got some artifacts. I also have this picture in the background, hieroglyphics, which was the language of Egypt. And this is my son's name, Gabriel, written in Egyptian hieroglyphics. So I just thought I'd just bring in the energy of Egypt as well. And I thought you'd appreciate that, so something different. And we've got some amazing god and goddesses today, which I'll introduce over time. But what we're going to do first is actually connect into the energy of ancient Egypt. We'll start with that because that's the strongest energy through this video. So within our civilizations of ancient Egypt, it was one of the strongest civilizations, and it crashed and burned later on, as we know, through history. And a lot of it has been discovered, but the angels are saying there's so much more that we're going to learn over the next kind of coming years in regards to ancient Egypt. And a lot of untapped energy is going to come through the portal of the pyramids. So the pyramids of Giza are actually in alignment with the star constellation. That's what he's saying. And he's saying it was specifically made to help access a portal between heaven and earth. And these pyramids were specifically designed to bring in the energy of the Palladian energy as well as the galactic energy. So this has kind of been a portal of mankind, between mankind and the stars, for a long time. And it's no secret, many people know that the pyramids are in alignment with the stars. So that is old energy, old news. What they're trying to bring forth is new energy. So what's going to happen is the gateway between, what's happening is because our frequencies are rising, we're going to start merging into the energy of the stars. So what's going to happen is you're going to see this gap reduce, and then there's not going to be kind of a veil anymore. And then you'll start to see the rise of a lot of information that has been lost along the way in regards to ancient Egypt, Lemuria, Atlantis. Like Egypt's knowledge and wisdom will start to open up first, and then we have already been accessing the Pleiades and all the other civilizations. I'm talking Pleiades because I'm from the Pleiades, but predominantly Palladians have also been on the earth for a long time, and they've witnessed a lot of the changes on earth. So that's why I keep bringing in that energy. It's just the particular star system I identify with, but there has also been other star systems, not negating that. I can only speak from my own personal experience working with the Palladian energy and being a Palladian myself. I can tap into that energy and that wisdom from the earth perspective. So what they're saying is the stars are really going to play a big importance in regards to attunements, downloads. We're going to see a lot more star constellations. We're going to start to really attune to the high frequencies of what's going on in the universe. And there's going to be this awareness that opens up to people when they're going into 5D energy. So it's really exciting because they're saying that it's almost like the pyramids are opening up for us because they've been locked down. And why this has happened is because over time humans got a bit greedy with knowledge and wisdom and money, and they obviously looted the pyramids. So everything's been shut down energetically, but this is starting to open up, and there's some rumbling in the pyramids. And what this is energy. And the energy is going to open up again, and you're going to start to find, archaeologists and that are going to start to find more kind of old scrolls, old wisdom, old knowledge, and that's going to come to the fore in the next 10 to 20 years. Because it's time for us to unravel that information. Because if we had found it earlier, we would have disintegrated it, we would have reused it. It's like there's also technology, I'm hearing, great technology that's going to come in from ancient Egypt, the stars. So there's a lot of information that's going to come to the fore, and a lot of people are remembering. So what they're wanting today is to trigger in you some kind of memory in regards to ancient Egypt. So all of us predominantly on the earth have spent time in Egypt one way or another because it was a huge civilization. At the end of the video I'm going to do a meditation where we're going to connect into the ancient Egyptian knowledge and wisdom, and just if this resonates with you, then if Egypt resonates with you or any other past civilization, then this video is going to resonate with you as well. So at the end we're going to do a connection in with the ancient civilizations, and then we'll see what happens from there. But really important today, it's all about bringing all that energy from the past, transmuting it, learning from it, and growing from it, and then bringing it into the now. How can we incorporate all of this knowledge and wisdom from all the ancient civilizations into the here and now. That's kind of the point of the angels talking about it. They're saying there's no point talking about the destruction of Atlantis and the destruction of Egypt, because that has been there. We've all lived that. We don't need to really go over those kind of things. So they really want to talk about today what we can use moving forward in regards to knowledge and wisdom and adaptions, and what's really important for us to know right now. So funnily enough, Cypress Bay is asking us to start with the animal spirits, because animals were quite significant in ancient Egypt, as you know. If you have studied it or researched it or been to Egypt, or if you know no knowledge of it, animals were kind of put up there in regards to God and goddesses. So the first, what's been coming to me quite a lot lately is the snake. So the snake in many civilizations actually is held sacred. And this has been coming up, and collectively they're asking us to shed our old skin. They're asking us to move forward, to let go of the past. And the snake energy is around transitioning and morphing into that new version of self. And in ancient Egypt, snakes were seen as quite sacred as well. And what this is to do with, this is Archangel Raphael. And Archangel Raphael came to me this morning through a meditation talking about this, the two snakes that intertwine on the symbol of the healthcare system, that, you know, what it was based on. And I kept going, what is this whole snake business? What do you want me to share with people? And what he is saying is, because of our activation of our Kundalini, so our Kundalini is getting activated in everybody, and this is quite news to me, quite a new thing to hear. I thought it was kind of more so to do with, depending on the evolution you're at, is when this gets activated. But he's saying the Kundalini within all of humans is getting activated to an essence, because it's needed to rise. So if you understand, this is called, if I'm saying it right, the Cadius. It's got two intertwining snakes, and these two snakes go from your base chakra all the way up to your third eye crown and beyond. And it is to do with our connection of our chakra systems. But essentially our Kundalini is being activated to help with the rise of this new age of man. And within the other civilizations, they are saying that what happened was there was a great purging, and everyone woke up around the same time. And this is where we get activated and we start to bring in the new energy of each civilization. And it sits within the root of the Kundalini. So if you've been having Kundalini rising, this can manifest in your body as around period times. It can actually manifest as back pain, headaches, migraines, and it can actually, what it's doing is the Kundalini is rising and it's going through each chakra to purge and cleanse and purify. So to make it easier on yourself, meditate with spirit and ask, is my Kundalini being activated? And if it's being activated, what can I do to support the activation and ascension? So with our bodies, because our body's energy is rising and moving through each chakra, so our bodies are changing and morphing to suit the new 5D energy, this snake energy is coming in quite strong. So it's to symbolize our Shakti, our pure primal essence that's being activated. And this manifests also through, if you want to feel into the energy of the Shakti or the sacredness, it's when we talk about sexual intercourse. It is when that occurs that the Shakti, the pure essence, and the sacral chakra. This is kind of where the divine masculine and the divine feminine meet, and this is where creation of a child occurs. So Shakti, or our Kundalini, is actually quite sacred, and used wisely, it can manifest a lot of things. So back in the days in ancient civilization, we knew how to use our Kundalini very wisely, and this is where we came into our power. We came into our union. So what's happening now is the divine masculine and feminine are starting to be activated again within our root chakra, our sacral chakra, our solar plexus. This is why we are all having stuff come up, because our pure essence, or our pure energy of a Kundalini is being activated. And it can be, there's percentages of activation, Spirit is saying. So you might be getting activated at 50%, 100%, 10%, depending on the place you're at. But all of us are getting our Kundalini activated, and this has been occurring in the last 6 months. It's been a big awakening. So when you awaken, it means that your Kundalini is rising. So Archangel Raphael is the perfect angel to work with in regards to your Kundalini, because he can help you decipher what foods you need to eat to support this, because it is a physical change. Your spiritual DNA is matching up with your physical DNA, and we can get ascension symptoms, and this is from our Kundalini pushing up old energy. So this can be to do with fears, insecurities. It can manifest as physical forms, so it can manifest as headaches, sore throats. And if you have any of this, obviously seek medical advice, but this is when it's beyond that and you're starting to think this is more spiritual. And the only way you can do this is by tapping into your heart center, your I am, your soul, checking in with Archangel Raphael and checking in to see if it actually is your Kundalini. So it's really exciting, because they're saying the age of man has arrived. We've actually learnt our lessons. We're in such a pivotal point in regards to learning. We have now outgrown the old ways, and we're kind of moving into this new 5D energy. And this is where the snake energy is really important in shedding our old skin and letting the Kundalini rise. So when we reach that point of ascension, we're going to be ready. So this is all in preparation of our journey towards spirit. I hope that makes sense to you all, but it's very exciting. And so that's why Raphael and the snake energy wanted to come in today. So that's good to know what's going on. So we're now going to talk to Commander Ashtar. So why he's here today is because he is one of the galactic, he belongs to the Galactic Council, and what he means by that, there's a council that overlights all of the cosmos, and Commander Ashtar is a part of that council. So he's coming up from that perspective, and he's talking to us to be called back into action, take charge, lead by example, walk our talk. So this is Commander Ashtar, if you've not already met him in my videos, but he is one of the cosmic beings, and Commander Ashtar is talking about it's time for us to rise now, and he's here to actually share the message that it's time for each and every one of us to start rising. It's not even a matter of, it's just a matter of timing. We all are rising in our own way, we're rising in with our own frequency, our own tunes, but we're being activated with this Kundalini, so it's such a raw essence, and we're maybe going to tap into that with our ancient meditation at the end. Ancient civilizations, connecting into your Kundalini and feeling where it's at. Where is the Kundalini, like what he's talking about is, where is the Kundalini activating you? Is it within your base, your sacral, your solar plexus? So it helps you to work through things on a more primal level, but also clears karma from the past of humanity as well. So your Kundalini is connected to all of man as well. So it's that pure essence of creation running within you, and it helps you to unblock stuck energy. That's what I'm hearing. So Commander Ashtar is also talking about that we're at such a pivotal point in regards to evolution that we need to step up now and start asking for that assistance in the ascension process. So start working closely with your team of spirit if you aren't already doing so. Call in Commander Ashtar to start bringing in the old ancient knowledge and wisdom that you have lived in past lives, the actual positive things. Because you don't, as he keeps saying, we don't want to relive the past. We actually want to move forward from those civilizations if you have memory of it, or even an inclination or an interest in it. You were there. You have been some point or another, in a point of time, you were in one of those civilizations, Lemuria, Atlantis, Mu, any of the star, also the star civilizations that were born before man. You also had incarnations on those planets as well. So there is so much that we can gain from the past and learning from it, looking at it in more of a spirit's perspective, and then moving forward with it and charging forward, he's hearing, not moving forward, charging forward and using it for the greater good. So this is where man is turning, where we're starting to realize that maybe we shouldn't just keep repeating the same things, that maybe we need to get off this karmic wheel and start making new energy for ourselves. So this is where we're breaking free from the matrix. We're breaking free from all those old shackles. So it's very much a liberation of the humankind, the mankind, and that's what Commander Ashtar is talking about. So that's what his bit of, he wanted to share with everybody. He's calling us all into action. So just seeing where they want to go. they still want to connect into ancient Egypt. So I have this stone here that I obtained or resonated with, and it is a lapis lazuli or something. I can't say it right, correction. But it's to do with connecting with your old ancient knowledge and wisdom. And it also is a stone from Egypt, because a lot of back in Egypt, I remember wearing this quite a lot actually in ancient Egypt. And it actually is almost like they used it as talismans. They used it for sacred symbols. They carved it and embroached it on jewelry. Like, so it's quite, they used it for painting. So it was quite a revered stone in ancient Egypt. So they're saying one of the stones you can get to start connecting with ancient Egypt is this particular stone. And what it does, it kind of activates your memories and helps you to remember the positive things that you need to bring forward from ancient Egypt. Some people resonate with ancient Egypt, some don't. So it depends on how many lifetimes you spent in ancient Egypt. But a lot of what I remember from ancient Egypt is to do with, we did very advanced with mathematics, science, advanced with geography, advanced with, I remember a lot of advancement in regards to painting. Ancient Egypt also aesthetics, so how you looked after your body, so nutrients. So the other thing I got pulled to talk about today is from the learning from ancient Egypt, Lemuria, and all of these things to do with our bodies. So the Archangel Raphael wanted me to mention that he's really moving away from that word healing, and he's starting to talk about, instead of looking at humans as needing healing, we actually need to balance our karma and bring balance to situations. That's how he wants us to refer it to, because it's our terminology. So when we say healing, it means we're broken, we need fixing. So Archangel Raphael, this beautiful depiction here, Archangel Raphael is talking about being open to integration, rebalancing karma from past lives. So all of it is to do with learning. There's nothing innately wrong with us. All it is purely learning, growing, evolving. Learning, growing, evolving. So Archangel Raphael is talking about ancient civilizations. We really need to stop looking at it as like we've got to heal things. We're imperfect. Archangel Raphael is talking about looking at ancient Egypt, Lemuria, Atlantis, all those beautiful civilizations, and looking at what we need to rebalance, because it will make it a lot easier for us to start looking at things and looking at what we need to bring in more love into the situation, because a lot of it was tests. A lot of these civilizations were test runs, if you want to put it into the context of human and mankind and learning and growing. So Archangel Raphael is talking about this is a big test for us in regards to balancing out what has happened, and he doesn't want us to repeat the same things that we did in other civilizations. So Raphael is talking about that innately. He wants us to see ourselves as whole beings who are just growing through life like we are going through school, learning different things. So advancing our soul, evolving. And all of us do it. Not one, even ascended masters, angels, cosmic beings, they all evolve, grow and learn. Like they all have a beginning and end in regards to their lessons. And they don't see it as healing, because healing means, as we said, healing means that you need to heal something that is broken when it's not. We are imperfect but perfect, the angels are saying. In our imperfection, we are perfect. And they're just leaving it at that. So that's the message. With ancient Egypt, what I was talking about, plants. So coming back to plants, I felt quite inspired to pick rosemary and mint. And why? Oh, they're just jumping out. Why this is important, actually, is because back in ancient Egypt civilization, we used a lot of nature to do a lot of our healing. So we actually went back to the earth. And earth provided to us what we needed to sustain our bodies. We actually didn't need medicine. And I'm not saying that we need to cut off medicine and go back to nature. What they're talking about is tapping into our resources again, really starting to tap into our innate nature within our bodies, because we are a part of nature. And what we have lost along the way is that connection to our root chakras and the knowledge and wisdom of our ancestors. So as we know, grandparents back in that generation, each generation shares, or brings forth a bit of knowledge. And It's almost like being watered down, the angels are saying. So it's almost now that the plants that we are looking at in our world, to start relying on it, upon it more. So start getting more caught up with like nature being our source vessel of integration, and our bodies require nature. That is just a part of our human nature. Our bodies are a part of nature. We need nature to survive. But we also need nature, like mint, rosemary. They all have their own qualities that they bring to the table. So I remember in ancient Egypt that I was a great physician and I used a lot of medicinal things. So a lot of the Egyptians liked natural therapies. There were doctors around. They weren't called doctors, but they were people that people would go to because they would have ailments. And a lot of what I remember is mixing up a lot of things from plants. I also, health and well-being was so important, relaxation. So in Egypt, if you could afford it, you would have a lot of time of pleasure, plenty. You would actually live this lifestyle of great wealth. You would have gold. Like, you really were revered. You really lived this lavish lifestyle. And it was almost like when you were in that kind of bubble, we'll call it, you had great health and well-being because you hired physicians. That's the right word they want to call it. Great physicians. And they used a lot of, they used talismans, they used spiritual energy, they used like Ra, they used plants. And they got to a point where it stopped working because they kind of moved away from that kind of, the potency of the plants. So a lot of the pharaohs and kings and queens and the people up who lived in Egypt, they would rely a lot on health and well-being. So they would get the very best fruits, veggies. Obviously, there was no junk food back in the day, so they really revered food as their source of medicine as well. So they gave themselves a lot of water, they purified a lot of things. It was all about purification. So I remember hearing the word purification in Egypt. You purified your skin, you purified your body, you purified through the gods and the goddesses, you purified through plants. It was all about cleansing and purifying. That's what I'm hearing. They would have beautiful, luxurious oil baths, and they would lather themselves with beautiful, like, jewelry and creams that were made from natural things. I remember, like, flowers. They're talking about flowers as having all these properties. So all of this ancient knowledge and wisdom we've got within us innately. And they're asking us to tap back into that and start getting more involved in that for ourselves. So getting really caught up on, there's so many untapped things in nature that in ancient Egypt they utilized to the point that they almost used it too much. And then the people that kind of didn't have the money couldn't afford it, and you saw that segregation, which we see in today. So this is why it's really important, why they asked me to bring in the energy of like herbs, flowers, and you'll find when you do connect into this lifetime, if you've had lifetimes in ancient Egypt, you do prefer to enjoy the finer things in life. Yeah, so that's kind of what they're wanting me to talk about, and all of it has relevance in regards to evolution. So in ancient Egypt, there was a period of great abundance where everybody was kind of almost put up in that pedestal where everybody could afford to kind of have all these luxuries. It didn't last for very long. It was almost like the golden age of Egypt, depending on the pharaoh. But I remember too that there was also quite a lot of, when this fell down, so when civilization, ancient Egypt fell, it was due to a lot of greed, it was due to a lot of reasons, as they don't really want to go through it. But what they're saying is they want us to learn that at the peak and height of ancient Egypt, there is all this information, knowledge and wealth that we could be bringing into this new golden age of what we are moving into. And all of us, each and every one of us, have cellular memory of ancient Egypt. So if you have been to Egypt, physically, non-physically, it doesn't matter. We all have this innate ability to tap into the Akashic records of ancient Egypt. And what Akashic records are, Akashic I should say, I call it Akashic. Akashic records are the records of Earth. So Metatron overlights, there are like books that are written about each civilization and all the learning, the lessons, everything is in these Akashic records. And humans are not allowed to tap into them into the timelines of it, but they are allowed to tap into the memories of it and remember what they were like, what they can bring forward from ancient Egypt. So Akashic records are really important. We all have, each and every one of us have Akashic records or Akashic records to the past. And what's happening now is we're all tapping into the Akashic records of Earth, because it's almost like we need to bring all of that information forward. And the only way we can do that is by remembering, first of all, that we've actually had past lives in those particular areas, but remembering that we can bring in the collective energy of abundance and the collective energy of the physicians. So bringing in the memories of all of that good stuff that we can from those civilizations. So they're going to show you how to do it at the end with the meditation, and they really want us to start doing this so that we can tap into it, really, essentially. And if each one of us are kind of starting to go on that path of remembering and bringing forward the good stuff, it means it ripples out, and it means other people will start waking up in that trajectory. Trajectory. So that's what they're talking about. Because the more we move forward with our bodies are going to require more of all the ancient stuff. So bringing the old knowledge and bringing it into the now. That's essentially what the angels are talking about. And we all can do this. This is not a superstitious thing. It's not a hairy-fairy thing. It's a thing that we actually can do in the physical form. Because what they're saying is more people are remembering, and so none of it is in just our imaginations. It's quite real. So when I've been tapping into my lifetimes and working with the Akashic records, it very much is. It feels like it all kind of connects to one point, and you are that point right now on Earth. You are that point in time where this is where it's happening for us, and we do live our lives simultaneously, but what is really important is keeping yourself grounded throughout these times, because they're saying that the more we're able to kind of anchor the old ways into the new energy, it's almost like we're bringing forward this kind of wisdom that is needed for the younger generation as well. So even though the young are coming in quite wise already and quite evolved, they still need to know fragments of the past so that we're able to move forward in our evolution. So we need to be the holders, the sacred holders of this knowledge and wisdom, and treat it with respect, because all these people that died and all that, you don't want it to be in vain. All these civilizations we lived, we want to be able to grow from this hugely, like monumentally, and like move forward with this with great leaps and bounds. So that's what I'm hearing. So we're going to tap now into the goddesses of ancient Egypt, and then I'm going to wrap up Egypt and then go into the next energy of the civilizations. But ancient Egypt, so we have a couple of goddesses here that is going to talk. I'm going to start with this one here first. Her name is Mat, or Mat. So in ancient Egypt, she was all about keeping the balance, keeping perspective, keeping the center. She kept fairness, and this is one of her roles in ancient Egypt. And she is saying that in regards to moving forward with the energy, she's saying that all of us need to keep a balanced perspective of what's going on right now in our world. Like not getting too bogged down with the heaviness, but keeping the center. And Mat is saying that you can call on her if you want to work with her in regards to goddess energy. She will help you to maintain the balance. She will help you to have a sense of self. She's got a very strong sense of center. So if you're wanting to work on keeping grounded and keeping centered, Mat is saying she's excellent to work with. And she's also bringing in the energy of the balance of past, present, future. So she's saying in order for us to move forward, we can't get kept or swept up in the future aspect, and we can't get swept up in the past aspect. We need to stay centered in the now. So she's very good at doing that as well. So she just wanted to pass on that message to whoever needs to hear it. And if you resonate with her, you can work with her. She's open, she's saying. The next beautiful Egyptian goddess is Hathor. So they're a group, a collective consciousness. But Hathor is talking about nurturing oneself. So she was the goddess of, I'm hearing fertility. She's also talking about abundance. She's talking about self-care, self-worth. Hathor is talking about just honoring who you are, and a part of our ascension process is standing in our divine God or goddess self. And Hathor is saying if you want some time out from the world, you can work with her to kind of regroup yourself and kind of bring back that magic back into yourself, like starting to honor you again, honoring the woman that you are, the man that you are. She's talking about just creating a beautiful space, a sensual space she's talking as well. So we're all about sensuality and looking after ourselves and activating our root chakra, our base, our solar plexus, standing in our power. Hathor is just talking about owning it, just owning it. The biggest energy I'm feeling from her is self-care. So in ancient Egypt, self-care was revered as being one of the things that you need to do for yourself. And also, if you had the money, you would do all the luxury around it. But what she's saying is you don't need luxury in order to do self-care. She's saying in the times that we're in, sometimes self-care means going for a walk, and it's the simpler things in life. So with ancient Egypt, we actually got a bit carried away with the luxury of life, and we actually got caught away with doing too much self-care almost. It became almost an indulgence. We almost got into the greediness of it. So she's saying there's a fine balance between self-care and starting to kind of take the mickey out of it. And she's saying in ancient Egypt, we kind of lost the balance, and this is where everything needs to be within balance. So that's Hathor. The next one we've got is Bast, and this cat obviously looks like my cat. So I've got a cat lying on the bed here. Cats were revered in ancient Egypt, and this cat wanted to come through. He was so loud. He was like, I'm back, I'm so excited. And you know what? He's saying the energy of the cats have followed through with the DNA of the cats today. And you can just look at a cat and see the majestic aspect of cats, right? And Bast is saying play. So he's talking about in ancient Egypt, play was so essential for the children, but he also said that a lot of the pharaohs, a lot of them actually encouraged play within their families, and they saw it as an important part of civilization. When they were at their peak, play was encouraged as a form of learning therapy. It actually was tapped into quite a lot, and the cat is saying that the cat's energy, so what he's talking about is in ancient Egypt, they really revered cats and they followed the cat's ways. So, you know, a cat can sleep all day, the luxury of being a cat. So they sleep all day, they play at night, you know, they do all these amazing things. And cats were revered for their playfulness, their lifestyles, and it's almost like humans wanted to mimic that because it looked like idealistic. So in one aspect, in the Egyptian times, people really revered cats and honoured them, but they're also very sacred. So they also were connected to the underworld, they were connected to your third eye. So they held quite a significance in regards to protection. They still to this day do protect homes, do protect people with just their mere presence, because they are able to see through all veils. So cats have come from other civilizations as well. They've evolved over time. And when you look at a cat, you think, really? But they've got it down pat. So they're all about listening to the cycles of nature. They listen to their bodies. They're in the moment. They're very intelligent. They know how to get their way. But they also can be loving and kind. So this Bast wanted to come through and just say, hey, I'm here. So if you want to work with in regards to playfulness, this ancient Egyptian god or goddess wants to work with you. And he's talking to that there's nothing wrong. There is, in ancient Egypt, the one thing that he does appreciate is that they did learn to stand in their presence, and they learned to honor who they were, like really stand in their power and really embrace their god and goddess self. And he remembers, Bast is saying he remembers when everybody would like honor themselves and honor the light in each other. So this is one of the things he's saying to bring forward from the past, is that we have the ability to honor each other. We have the ability to play as well. We have the ability to live abundant, luxurious lives, all of us, not just a segment of the human population. In ancient Egypt, there was a period where there was great abundance upon the land for everybody. It wasn't just one particular group. And so they're saying that man needs to return to that essence of abundance. So that's what Bast is saying. We've got here the Great Sphinx. So the Great Sphinx says challenge. So the Great Sphinx, which I have met, it was interesting. The energy was very different to what I thought it would be. When I went there, I remember it being quite a sacred symbol for the Egyptian people. We saw it as a symbol of protection, hope. It was protection and hope. It was like something watching over us, watching over our civilization. It was a gateway as well. So I remember the Sphinx being a gateway for walk-ins. So some of back in the Egyptian days, there were people that would come in from the stars and walk in through working. The Sphinx would only allow certain beings to come into the ancient civilization. So what they're talking about is we had great star seeds that came into ancient Egypt to lock in the knowledge for humanity. So we had a lot of teachers around them. And so humans needed to coordinate this with the star seeds. And so we had a lot of Lemurian, we had a lot of Palladian, we had a lot of star systems come in. And it was like a collaborative effort. Ancient Egypt really was a pilot in regards to co-creating with other star systems. And the Sphinx is saying that the Sphinx holds a lot of this memory. And she's talking about that she watched over. She was there for a period of time. She watched over the evolution of man, the rise and the fall. And she's talking about the greatest piece of wisdom she could give us is that collaboration is key with other star systems. It flourished because of the collaboration, not because man did it themselves. Man had intervention, they had divine intervention, they had star intervention. This is where we need to kind of move away from the segregation that you are the one way and I am another. It was like the Sphinx is saying, through history, ancient Egypt in particular, working with other star systems brought forward all this beautiful knowledge and wisdom. And the challenge is going to be respecting each other's differences and places of spiritual awareness, spiritual level of consciousness. That is going to be the challenge. And last lifetime in Egypt, it kind of worked for a while, and then people got greedy and they started to think they were better than the next person, and they used it for personal gain. So the Sphinx is asking us all to be wise, to use our wisdom, to learn from the past, to move forward from this energy of not working in collaboration. We have all seen beautiful things come to fruition with working as a team. All of us hold our own sacred knowledge and wisdom, and that is the message from the Sphinx. I think they can't get it any clearer. Next is Nut. Okay, so I'm just tuning into her energy. She is talking about she's talking about us with our own innate magic. So talking about our spiritual energy. So Mut is talking about, in essence, holding the energy of the Christ consciousness, holding the higher God self energy, holding your I am energy. And she's saying that we did this in ancient Egypt very differently, but we were able to hold it for a period of time, but it wasn't consistent. So she's talking about the more we're able to hold our God self energy more consistently, that is the aim. No one is perfect on this earth, and she is saying that the more that we hold the light, the easier it is to carry. So the more that we practice holding our light, the more we're able to hold it more consistently. So with going into the 5D energy, it's all about holding the vibration of love and not fear. So this is where we need to get more consistent. So in other civilizations, we held it for a period of time, but we stopped holding it. That's when we started to get the imbalance of light and dark, and this is where we continue duality. So that's what she is talking about. Got a lot of information. Sekhmet. So, the energy I'm picking up is anger and rage. So, Sekhmet is talking about how with our emotions, we almost become very volatile with the power that we held. So when we started to get greedy in other civilizations, particularly in ancient Egypt, it was all about how could you serve thyself. So it was all about ego. So what we are doing is we are trying to transmute the past. We're transmuting old energy, old anger, old irritation, old from past lives. We're also healing the Akashic records around how we kind of did wrong to each other, how we created karma, essentially going back to the beginning of time, like healing parts and aspects of self of man, healing, just loving each other, brotherhood. I'm hearing it's almost like we need to let go of these kind of he said, she said, you did, I did, the ego way of separation. She's talking about, Sigma is talking about taking the empowered approach and not blaming other people for anger, irritation, past events, even in just this lifetime, but also looking at what part did you play and how can you kind of integrate and move on from this, because it's all about, if us humans were designed with emotions, and she's talking about the frequency of emotions that we have. And in ancient Egypt, we got very out of control with our emotions. It almost governed us. And in there that she's wearing the snake. So it's like shedding our old skin, shedding our old ways of being, which were corruption, were to do with ego, anything to do with ego and self-satisfaction. This needs to be healed, and this needs to be brought forward, and it needs to be integrated into the here and now. So particularly, she's jumping out of my hand. She went away. No, so what she's saying too is that we've got to just take that leap of faith and move forward, and not always needing to know the answers, because our emotions and our thoughts and our ideas, the ego wants to know what's going to happen next. And it gets fearful, it gets anxious, it's a self-protective mechanism. But what they're saying is, in ancient Egypt, that almost took over. The emotions, the survival mechanism kicked in. The difference is this lifetime and moving into 5D, we need to move away from our survival mechanism, which is in our limbic system, which is in our pineal gland, and start standing in our God self, our 5D ascension self, and actually moving forward and not reacting, not getting caught up in the emotion of life, because there's a difference between enjoying life and enjoying the positive emotions. And she's not saying that you can't acknowledge or work with the current emotions that you have, or emotions from the past, but a lot of the emotions are tied into our past civilizations. So when we react out of fear, this is an accumulation of fear from way back when. It's not just fear in this lifetime. It is fear that you're tapping into the collective consciousness. So this is all an accumulation. If you can picture a big bubble of dark energy, it's come back from the past. It is karma that we haven't healed, we haven't equaled out, we haven't settled. So what she's saying is, looking at the past as a way of bringing about finding peace within the situation, understanding and accepting what has happened in past civilizations. Because she's saying with ancient Egypt, there were a lot of things that went down that weren't positive, and there were a lot of positive things that went down. And she's saying it's how we look at it and how we focus on it, and bringing forth what only needs to be brought forth. Because she's saying the more you rehash the past, the more you bring it into the now. So she wants us to look at the past in a perspective from spirit, saying, what can we do to grow from this? How can we bring it forward? How can we not get overly emotionally invested in it without getting triggered? And the only way you can do is by starting where you are in this moment and figuring out in this lifetime what you're doing. But when you feel you need to go beyond that and start looking at past lives, it's a very different aspect. It's a more, you don't want to keep going back into the past and digging into things that don't need to be dug into. Because she's saying some things are also left in the past. So this is the other thing with ancient Egypt. When you're asking for this information to come forth, which I did as well, I invited all of it in, but I don't need all of the ancient Egyptian stuff. I only need what's in my highest and best interests, what's going to serve. So when you deal with Akashic records or Shake It records, you're not meant to be going back to play around with that stuff. You're actually going back to do some very deep-seated healing for man, not just on your timeline, but on other people's timelines. Okay, let's move on from that. That was kind of all the information I have from that. And then we've got Horus and Isis, who are ancient Egyptian, and Cypress Bay, who will talk at the end. So we're now going to tap into doing a pick a card with the stars. So we're going to connect into the star system and see what our ancestors want us to know in regards to ancient civilizations on Earth. What kind of learning or what kind of information do they want us to know? So the first card we've got is Star Ancestors. We've got the pyramids. How coincidental, must I say. And on it says here is hidden secrets, lost wisdom, look a bit deeper. This is just acknowledging that we are coming home to this. This is our home. We've been here before. We've been in this uncertainty place where we're in this turning point of man. And we really need to rely on our star ancestors. And this is where ancient Egypt and all our past civilizations are asking us to wake up, remember. Because this is innate in us. This is not something new to us. So that's what this card is saying. That's a lovely card with the pyramids. What other knowledge and wisdom? I remember. Soul plan, the fated life versus destiny life. I remember. So what do you remember? Can you remember? Is it important to remember? Yes. You can delve into it, but don't delve so deep that you'll get lost in it. That's what Spirit is saying. So when you're looking at these aspects of self, only do it for the highest good. And you want to really do it for gaining prior knowledge and wisdom of your soul. I remember who I am. I remember what lifetimes. If you could remember all your lifetimes, well, first of all, you can. It's not a thing that you can't do it. Actually, all of us have an innate ability to do so. It's more so, is there a reason for doing it? You need a reason to remember all your lifetimes. There's a learning behind it. There's a greater good. And when you're remembering things, what can you bring from the past to help the here and now? Humanity, how can you help serve the light? That is the question. If I'm bringing things from the past, have I healed, or have I integrated it? Have I balanced the karma? Have I created balance within my chakra system? What can I bring forward to help serve humanity when you're tapping into your ancient knowledge and wisdom? Next is jump in. So it says Andromeda energy, adventure, say yes to change. This is where we're going. This is where we're moving. This is why this video was done, to encourage you. Yes, it's time to jump in. It's time to remember. It's time to evolve. It's time to grow. Okay. Ancient star civilizations have occurred. So the Palladians, the Andromedas, all the people that have been on previous planets, they have all gone through great civilizations. Same as Earth. And they've all grown in their own roots, in their own ways, had their own lessons. So we are not divi to this. We are the same as everybody else on this planet. And they had their great darkness, and they also had their great light. So the next card is You're Not For Everyone. Embrace your weirdness, face your true north. So when you're on this journey, don't feel you're alone. Know that you're not everyone's cup of tea. Like I've just found, I just stick to my own energy. I attract my own soul tribe, just being standing in my light. Not everybody's going to understand what you're talking about, or even the vibration in which you vibrate at. But that's not the point. It's about embracing yourself, embracing your own weirdness, embracing your own journey, and facing your true north and keeping true to you. Because we're on the edge right now. This is a point we're being asked to stay focused, stay centered, keep going, don't back down, stay authentic to ourselves. Any more knowledge and wisdom, please, Spirit? The courageous peignoir. So, multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. It's time for us to rise and be seen in this great universe. It's time for us light workers, star seeds, earth angels. It's time for us to rise and show that we want to be counted. We're not crazy. We are bringing the light of man back. You know, we've got a big responsibility. So it's standing in our courageousness of who we are, standing in our God self, calling in Michael to help us be one of those light warriors. Just having the courage to be ourselves is just a beautiful aspect of self. And not dimming your light to fit in. I mean, once you've done it, and when you come out of that and you no longer seek approval to be in your own light, it's such an empowering energy. Okay, last card from this deck, please. Last one, and I was going to go to this. These are the orca and the whale elders. And the card says, share your song, frequency of sound, dive deep. So, funnily enough, I'm leading into the whales. Why whales? I've talked about it in previous videos. These are the Akashic record holders of Earth. The whale spirits are the only animal that hold on to the Akashic records or the Akashic records of man. What I mean by that is they are the guardians, they are the elders. they watch over humanitarian's evolution. They record everything. They also document, so that I'm hearing documentation. They also keep the frequency of Earth high by singing their songs under the water. So they vibrate at a high frequency. They come from a planet from the stars that hold the frequency of pure light. These are our guardians. So if you want to tap into the Akashic or Shakic records of Earth, tap into the whale energy. Whales hold them. They're very sacred. So the Akashic records of Earth are held within the energy of the whales and the elders. And the whales are the oldest souls on Earth in regards to animals. And the whales are so huge. They hold so much of that frequency. That's why they have the bigger bodies. That's why they live in the ocean, the element of water. They hold the frequencies of the light codes for humanity. So when it is time to be activated, they activate the waters, and then the waters activate us on the planet. So they're really an essential key part of our evolution. And the whales are saying it's time for us to wake up to our truth. That's essentially what's going on. And the whales are also saying it's time to trust the great mystery. Trust that we're being looked after. Trust that all of these things have been put into place for us way before man was created. So we've got so many things looking after us. And that man has only but grown. That's the message I'm hearing from our elders. And they're also saying that when we watch man, we are so in awe of the beauty in which man holds. The whales are saying that they provide healing and integration on the earth. So they're also saying our bodies require frequencies. So even before ancient Egypt, Lemuria, we used and relied on sound frequencies. So they're saying to tap into the importance of music and the importance of sound healing. And so they're saying a great way of connecting in with the whales is listening to their music. So listening to whales sing, and also dolphins as well. So they're saying in order to connect in with your elders, so the secret keepers of the earth, so also the other responsibility is to maintain the frequency of earth and the blueprint of earth. And that's their job. And it's such a beautiful thing for them to do for us. So in awe of these majestic creatures. I mean, how can you not love the whales? I mean, open your heart to these beings. Just feel the energy of the whales. Thank you so much, beautiful whales, for being our gatekeepers, for being of mankind, protecting us over eons and eons and eons. So much love for the whales. Right. Where do we go from here? Right. Oh. Got to get all my cards. So the next civilization we're going to talk about is Lemuria and kind of the lifetimes Mu. So we're going to connect into the energy of Atlantis as well, and just see what these cards want to talk to us about in these lifetimes, these civilizations. So if you've looked up, you can look up and understand these lifetimes. If you haven't already, or remember lifetimes on Mu, Lemuria, Atlantis, we all had great civilizations before ancient Egypt, or during the time of ancient Egypt, where we coexisted. And they were created by other star seeds as well. So star seeds came down, planted seeds into the earth for us, man, to grow into, to experiment with these lifetimes. And we gained quite a lot of knowledge and wisdom from them. We also know the other tragedies from it, but we also grew hugely from these lessons. So they really just want this video to serve as a reminder that we can always learn and grow, and it's not about what we did, it's how we overcame the obstacles and how we grew from this. And this is why this lifetime is so important for us, to bring forward the knowledge and wisdom of these lifetimes, these civilizations. Let's start with Lemuria. So what information would you like us to know in regards to Lemuria, and what we can bring forth from Lemuria to help us in our new 5D ascension? So let's pick the first card. Oh, I knew this one would come out. The Elven ones. So, Lemuria, elves. The Elven ones were a race of cosmic beings who came down to Earth to help us with our ascension. They're very wise. They bring in the divine creation codes. They're starborn, they're architects, they're divas, and they bring in sacred geometry. So these beautiful elven ones, which I have been one of them, so I can speak from experience. So in the time of Lemuria, elves were brought forth from the stars to anchor in the new light codes, so to bring in the new frequencies of light in regards to plants, animals, crystals, so that there was this one collective cohesive consciousness. So we were all working in one unity, one group. The elders or Elven, the Elven were elders of the star system they came from, and they brought forth all these light codes, and they were there to supervise and make sure and mentor people to make sure that people were adhering to respecting the knowledge, the sacred wisdom. And the Elven ones are talking about that they have come back to Earth actually at this time, and they're actually asking us to reconnect. So when I kept picking this card, I was like, I couldn't even remember my lifetime as an elven one. Oh, elven one, yeah. And they were saying to me, it kept coming up, and I was like, but why is this so important? And they said, the elven ones were the chosen ones to come down and be the guardians of the new earth of Lemuria, and they were the ones that brought forth the light codes, and then they anchored it, and then it was up to the civilization of Lemuria to grow and prosper. They're the ones that came down and brought and fixed it on the earth so that people had a blueprint of kind of past civilizations that have coexisted on other star systems. And so Lemuria became in itself its own version of self. And the elven ones are saying that we are being reactivated to these light codes. So the elven ones have come back to Earth today, and they're saying that they have started to anchor in this new divine blueprint within the spectrum of nature. And they're creating these new light codes within the flowers, within the trees. So you're going to see new species of trees coming in, new types of animals. It's almost like we're moving forward, and what they're saying is, it's time, like the elven ones are saying, from Lemuria, we need to bring forth how well we did in creating when we were in the height of Lemuria. What a beautiful system it worked. It worked really well. And they're saying for us to bring forth the cohesiveness, that we worked as one. We were in collective harmony with nature. We harmonized with everything. It was one of the only civilizations where we harmonized in all the light frequencies. We had sound, a lot of music, a lot of color. And this lifetime in Lemuria, they're saying, was a beautiful existence. It was one of the most beautiful, gorgeous golden ages of man. And the elven ones are saying it's time for us to recreate that on Earth again, heaven on Earth. So that's what I'm hearing from Lemuria. Let's see, next card. Lemuria, opening the heart. And it says, right to love, to be loved, heart healing. So Lemuria, we worked a lot with our hearts. We vibrated in the frequency of love and oneness. And so they're asking us to remember in our hearts, we have cellular memory with working with the frequency of divine love. Opening the heart. So we're going through a big metamorphosis within the heart. We're actually upgrading our heart centers. And they're saying with Lemuria, we really worked with the frequency of connectedness. So we really felt connected to plants, to animals, to everything that was. There was no separation. And so that means we could feel the pain of a plant, if there was pain at all. And if there was disharmony within a plant, another human, another being, then we were able to straight away do some integration, balance it out, and live in harmony again. So it was all about keeping in harmony with nature. So they're saying that our hearts are opening up, and we need to really realize that we are one and the same. We are not separate, we are not divided, and it's just the 3D matrix making us think that way. And remember, it is your choice to break away from the matrix. So open your heart. Remember your Lemurian ties. Remember the purity. I've got the purity card at the bottom. Remember how beautiful and pure it was, the waters of Lemuria. They're talking about there were beautiful waters in Lemuria we would bathe in. We were in Lemuria we lived for thousands of years. Our health was pristine because we were so in harmony with everybody. So that's what they're wanting us to remember again and bring in the energy of Lemuria, our memory, our soul memory, our Akashic record of that beautiful lifetime in Lemuria. Everybody has fond memories of Lemuria, and it was such a beautiful, peaceful existence. Because what they're saying is they kind of want to bring the best from everywhere and kind of bring it into this new energy, because that's what's happening. We're bringing all this old soul memories, bringing it forth so we can co-create this whole new entire existence that hasn't been created before. We don't want to repeat. That is the message. We don't want to repeat what we've already done. Okay, Lemuria. 2 last messages from Lemuria. We've got the sun and we've got star connection. So they came out together. So the first card says presence, pineal gland activation, relax and let go. Breathe the sun. The second card is guidance from the stars, galactic self-unified field. So what this is saying, they're both number 2, 22, power number 22. So 2 and 2. What this is saying is ultimately that we need to reconnect with our star self. We need to stand in our presence. We need to let go. And we need to relax. Because in Lemuria, even though we've had that existence, we can have it again. There's a lot of fear around, can we create this again? And there's this fear in the cosmos. There's fear in humanity. We're going to muck up again. We're going to make the same mistakes. If you keep focusing on that, that's all we're going to ever get. We need to focus on what we want in this existence. So, presence and unified field, being unified with the one source, remembering we are whole and complete as we are right now. The sun, optimism, focus, our divine masculine. So balancing out our divine masculine is we're bringing in this new age of man. Our divine masculine is what we're bringing in, which is a beautiful thing. We're birthing new suns. We're bringing in and balancing it out in our energetic fields. And the guidance from the start is we are part of the sun and the stars. We belong. We are all one. We are all connected. And none of this should be news to you. This all should be quite well known and resonate. And the learning from Lemuria was that we did stand in our God selves. We were in an age of peace. Mankind had an age of peace. We had an age of harmony. We had no diseases. It was just a beautiful atmosphere. And they're saying that our third eyes are being opened up to this truth. And it's almost like there's so much light on the other side. We just need to relax and let go and just trust. Right, that was Lemuria. Now we're going to connect into Atlantis. So what does Atlantis' energy, ancient civilization? Oh, this has popped up. So this first one is cosmic circles. And it's got here, create a sacred space, number 3. Embrace unlimited possibilities, cosmic circles. So this earth is a cosmic circle. It's been created through a beautiful matrix of light. It's reminding us that we can uncreate things and we can create new things. We are not bound by the law of karma. We can break the law of karma. We can create new versions of self. What we need to do is create the space. All of us create our own spaces to embrace our unlimited possibilities. You've got to be open to receive. You've got to be open. And what they're saying is in Atlantis, a lot of us were quite open-minded. We had to stretch our minds beyond mathematics, beyond science. We did a lot of things in Atlantis. We created a lot of advanced technology. We created crystals. We created healing modules. We created so much. We kept open. So in Atlantis, they're saying to bring forth our openness, our expansiveness, the unlimited possibilities. So in Atlantis, we were powerful. We got so powerful, it was the end of us. But we also stood in the golden age of Atlantis, where we triumphed. And at the bottom, we've got forgiveness. So Forgiveness is what we need to do for Atlantis. What do we need to forgive in Atlantis? We need to let go of the past. We need to let go of the sadness. We've got to see the bigger picture. We've got to trust and heal from those civilizations. So in Atlantis, we really let power get to our heads. It was huge. So we need to forgive ourselves and know that we had to go through that in order to learn to be humble. We had to get really powerful and stand in our powerful, so Atlantis was one of the lifetimes we got to stand in a lot of power. And we had to learn grace. We had to learn mercy. We had to learn all those beautiful qualities. And in Atlantis, we did our best work in regards to manifestations. We were able to manifest really quickly. We were able to use magic, use power. In Atlantis, we got greedy with the technology. We created it not for the highest good. We did work in unison for a while, but we also had a lot of division. But this is where we started to learn about separation, really hugely separation, consciousness. So let's let Atlantis talk to us, shall we? The first one is Sacred Mountain. And it's got here vision, quest, clarity and truth, deep healing, Shambhala. The Sacred Mountain. So in Atlantis, there was a lot of sacredness to it. There were a lot of temples that were created. There were a lot of sacred spaces that we used in order to manifest, in order to pray, in order to reconnect with spirit. And they're almost asking us to go on a vision quest to remember on how we connected to spirit. Because in Atlantis, we held so much light, and there was an error in our ways, because even though we held a lot of light, we didn't hold a lot of gratitude in regards to being humble about it. And we created, but we never stopped and actually appreciated. We never gave thanks. So it started off in Atlantis. We gave thanks to the goddesses. We gave thanks to our I Am. We had a lot of magical powers. A lot of people were god and goddesses in their own right. And this is where the divine feminine was very strong in Atlantis. We did a lot of integration, a lot of upgrades. Other starseeds came in to show us different ways of healing the body, and that we created a space to do so. So they're saying moving forward, they'd like us to create our own spaces of healing for ourselves, or integration. And they're saying that we can actually maintain a sense of self. We can create a space of healing for ourselves, and not always go outside of ourselves to seek healing. Because in Atlantis, we were able to self-heal. We did it on a DNA level. We did it on a spiritual level. We were masters. We were masters of healing. We were masters of a lot of things. But yes, masters. So they're saying in this, to bring it forward or play it forward, what have you mastered in other lifetimes that you can bring forward to serve? This is the other thing. So in Atlantis, with the downfall of man, it was like, what did we learn from this? How can we, next time we want to go forward, how can we integrate? So the card I've got is integration. Forgiving self and others, reunion. So a part of us are having a reunion with our past selves, but also fellow men that have been there with us in Atlantis. Letting go of our defenses, opening the door. So opening the door for healing and integration. So I'll just show you this card. Hope. Bringing forth from Atlantis all of the learnings so that we have hope for the future, like looking back on it thinking, hey, we did really well, even though there was stuff that we didn't do well. We did a lot of things well. And they're congratulating us, because in Atlantis we mastered a lot of things, and what's happening now is we're needing to transfer all of that wisdom from Atlantis to here. And we don't want to transfer just the things that went wrong. We want to transfer all the beautiful blessings that we got from this lifetime in Atlantis. Crystals is one of them as well. Working with the power of crystals. We have got all these beautiful crystals on our earth that we used to use in time of crystals as well. So the crystals are saying they were designed by spirit to help with mankind. They're still awakened. They're awake. They're a form of consciousness. But they've moved away from doing everything for us, because they used to predominantly be quite powerful, and they used to kind of work for us. But now they're saying they kind of want to work with us in tandem. They don't want to be dominant anymore. And also in Atlantis, we kind of got a bit greedy with crystals. We started to harness their power for other things. Yes, I remember quite well actually. So the amethyst, one of the stones we used in Atlantis, we used the amethyst quite a lot for enhancing our abilities. And the amethyst got kind of tired of kind of supporting us because it wanted us to empower us to move forward. It didn't want us to rely solely on the crystals. You can work in partnership with the crystal, but you're not meant to try and drain it completely, and that's where we went the other way. So it's kind of respecting the sacredness of life on Earth, and it's all of life, not just us being the dominant species. It's us working in tandem with other animals, other creatures, other light workers. Oh, I don't know why that's there. Right, Atlantis. Okay, I'm just going to go to these cards because apparently that's... So Atlantis, please. Messages of Atlantis. So Atlantis was our Earth school. So it says life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. So Atlantis was a great period of growth for man. So what can you remember? What have you learnt from it? What can you bring from that age into this age and this time? And Earth is a school. Earth is a beautiful big school that we've all chosen to come into from different star systems and collaborate and co-create, and it's a beautiful thing. It's really a beautiful thing. So Atlantis, last messages. Star bathing. So it's asking us, in the Atlantis time, we used to work with the star systems quite a lot as well, in aligning our chakras. And it's asking us to go back to basics and remember that you lying under the stars, you can receive star activations. And it says light body transmission activation. So in Atlantis, we got very good with working with our light bodies. And they're saying that this is what we're returning to. So we need to purify our bodies. And a way of doing this is working with the energy of that time, is to bring in the Atlantean understanding of light grids and crystals and working with nature and working with the stars. So there's a lot of learning involved there. Right. We're now going to tap into our ancestors of Earth and see what they'd like us to know in regards to the ancient civilizations. Then we're going to tap into the Palladians. So let's tap into our ancestors. What do they want us to know about ancient civilizations? Egypt, Lemuria. First thing is High Priest. Look at that image. And it says intend and create. So what do we intend to do with this new age? What do we intend to create? We are the priest. We hold the power. So how are we going to use this divine masculine energy that we have worked over the centuries, millennia? How are we going to harness it for the greater good? What are we going to create? What are we intending to create? It's almost like we hold the scepter of power. Next, ancestors. 2 cards. So 2 cards together, the Hermit and Winter. Take care of your needs. So what we learned in past civilizations is that we can be wise. We can be the person that holds the wisdom. It's actually asking us right now to listen, retreat, recharge, and take care of your needs. We need to do this right now. We need to do this in order for us to bring in this new this old wisdom and knowledge that we need to bring back into existence. We need to retreat. We need to listen. Because the only way to access your Akashic records, or Akashic, or the only way to listen to your innate wisdom is to take care of yourself, is to stop. Our ancestors want us to take time out. They want us to listen. What does this message mean to you? How can you connect back into your ancestors, your ancient civilizations, if you have DNA, RNA activation? If you have had lifetimes, or you've got actually ancient Egyptian DNA in you, you actually can access a lot quicker. And they're saying they want us to understand why this information is important today. You need to retreat, take care of yourselves, and listen. Final messages from our ancestors, please. Oh, this one popped out. Eagle. Final, actually. The eagle. And mountains. So, the eagle. The eagle says, see from a higher perspective, stand your ground. So the message I'm hearing from our ancestors, it's time for us to stand our ground. It's time for us to realize that we are powerful creators. We are the only ones in existence can bring about the new 5D energy. There is no one else who can do it. The star ancestors help us, our angels help us, but they're not allowed to do it for us. So we've got to stand our ground, be true to ourselves, and see it from a higher perspective. See how much power we hold. Look at that eye there, the eye of Horus. We can see the truth. So seeing beyond delusion, seeing the truth. Horus. Horus is one of ancient Egyptians. I'm tuning into and he's an ascended master. He's actually saying to us, it's time for us to open our eyes properly, not just to see what you want to see, but see the truth. And there is a cosmic gateway opening. It says miraculous changes are occurring. There's a gateway that is opening. This gateway has been opened. There is a portal for ancient Egyptian knowledge and wisdom to be anchored into the earth right now. And it is opening up over Egypt. So if you want to tune into that energy, you can connect in through meditation. You can get ellipsis. And it's all about connection. It's all about remembering. It's all about transferring all of the good stuff into our divine blueprint into the now. And Horus is saying, call him in. If you want to see what's going on, he can activate your third eye. He can help you with presence. He wants us to stand in our power and with love. He wants us to stand in our sovereignty. He wants us to stand with truth and conviction and confidence and wholeness, because they can do it. They can see we can do it. They want us to do it, but they can't do it for us. That's Horus. Beloved Isis. Divine feminine in her own right, mother of all, creator of all. She is saying, magic manifesting, your dreams, visions and goals are becoming reality. Stay focused. So we're getting this message of staying focused again. What is your third eye showing you? What do you need to look at in your life? What can you start now to help kind of bring in this new age? Can you go back into the past and find things that need to be forgiven, integrated, healed in your chakras? Isis is here and she's saying we're magical, we're powerful beings. In ancient Egypt, Isis brought so much magic to the plane. She helped all these beautiful priestesses and goddesses stand in their own power, and she led by example. She was a beautiful, powerful lady. She was a real person. She's telling me, yes, she was real. So Isis is not just an ascended master. She walked the earth. She had her children. She bore her children. She lived a life of man. She understands the pain and suffering. She understands all of that. All of the ascended masters have been on earth. And she wants you to remember that you used to walk with other ascended masters. If you have had other lifetimes in other civilizations, you have walked beside these beautiful ascended masters. So all these ascended masters, you have walked with them. In ancient Egypt, you probably walked beside Horus and Cyprus Bay and Isis. They were real people. They're saying that life matters, that we only get this proper one chance with this new 5D energy. We want to do it right this time. They remember all these other lifetimes we've had. And it doesn't mean we're going to get 100% perfect, but we can do our best. And they're saying there's so much learning and wisdom and pearls of wisdom, actually, they're talking about within this video, within the knowledge of Lemuria, Atlantis, ancient Egypt, even Greece, like all the ancient civilizations that we've had upon earth. There's so much learning there. Be open to learning, be open to receiving. That's what they're saying. Remember that you are equal to us. We don't see you as we're up here, you're down there. We're finally now quickly going to just pull some Akashic Records energies to see where they'd like us to take the meditation. So we're going to do a quick meditation to connect into this ancient knowledge and wisdom. and just leave it there. And you can practice this however many times you want to do. And it's just really activating within you this innate wisdom that we already have, and it's remembering the truth. So I'm going to pick 3 cards to see where, these are my Akashic Records cards, or Akashic Records, and we're going to tune into the Akashic Records of Earth. So 3 cards, really 3 important messages they want us to know today in regards to integration and what we should focus on right now. And if people are interested, I do Akashic Record healings and integrations online or in person. And in person right now not possible because of the restrictions. But if you go onto my Facebook page, I do a 1-hour session with Akashic Records individually to you. And I take you through the process of you doing your own healing integration with your own higher self. So because Metatron works with the Akashic Records, he only allows certain people to work with the energy because, as you can imagine, the Akashic Records of Earth are very sacred, and even for your higher self. If man was to, we used to work with our Akashic Records a long time ago. We used to work with the Akashic Records of Earth, but we started to do naughty things with it. We started to go into them to manipulate time and space. We were changing events. So we got the big, nah, it's only going to be restricted to people who have trained with Metatron. So when people are talking about Akashic Records, it's a very sacred thing. I'm not saying I'm the only person who can do it. There are many people on the earth that can access it. And you can access them yourself. But there is a particular way of doing so. And it's always safe to do it first time with somebody who's got experience. And then, so if you are interested, please look on my Facebook page. Okay, so let's pick in 3 Akashic Records for Earth. What do we need to know right now? So the first one is birth. So number 4. So if you look at this picture, you've got a mother, you've got 2 children, and number 4. So 4 is about creating a solid foundation. So we are in the time of birth. We are birthing this new energy. And in the Akashic Records of Earth, this is what is happening. Just confirms the energy that we need to be focusing on. Second Akashic Record of Earth, please. Next one is the Queen of Scrolls. So this just mimics tarot. So the Queen of Scrolls is about us unraveling the information and the wisdom and the knowledge that we already have within us, innate. We are queens. We are queens, kings of this information. So the Akashic Record of Earth is opening up for us because it's actually reminding us that we hold all the information we need to birth this new 5D reality and beyond. So the Queen of Scrolls is someone that just has a knowing, an understanding, and she trusts. So this is what's been activated within us, all of us. Okay, and the final Akashic Records. The King of Forces. So if you look at this card, it's got all the elements of nature all in one, and it's all working together and working in cohesiveness, the King. So the King means he has learnt, he has mastered. So the Akashic Record of Earth is reminding us that we are learning to master and be the king of the forces, our own innate nature. And if we need to learn how to master ourselves first before we can master other things. And nature has its own way of mastering itself. We don't need to master it. So if you are the king of forces, you understand how everything works in the universe. And what's been activated in our Akashic Records is how we can work in cohesiveness with the rest of nature to co-create this experience. Okay, we're going to get into the meditation now. So if you want to just place your hand over your heart, and I'll guide you through a beautiful meditation that will help you to connect into Horus and Commander Ashtar to just overlight us. So we're going to start with that. So our purpose today is to do a meditation connected with Horus and Commander Ashtar to overlight us, and Archangel Metatron to help us to connect into the Akashic Records of Earth and just tune into the positive energies that we can bring forth from the past. So I'll ask you to take 3 deep breaths purposefully, just with purpose and meaning. And so the angels now want you to surround yourselves with a beautiful diamond white light, and they want you to see it flowing down like crystal water. It's just surrounding you in this gentleness, in this peace, in this light. And they want you to connect to the ascension flame of earth. So we ask for the ascension flame to be placed around us, the ascension flame of mankind, the white ray. We ask for the ascension flame of the gold ray to be placed around us. We ask for the ascension flame of the blue ray to be placed around us. We ask for the ascension flame of the pink ray. We ask for the ascension flame of the blue ray. And we ask for the violet flame to blaze around us. So as Metatron stands to the left side of you, he places a beautiful mikrobar of light around you, and he asks that you go within this vehicle of pure light, this vehicle of light that has been created around us, and it's safely going to take us up and out, through the room, into the stars. So just feel yourself lifting off, higher and higher above the clouds, moving through the earth, moving through the stratosphere all the way out above the earth, and feel yourself being quickly taken to the stars. So you're being taken to the portal of stars that's beyond earth, and they are now taking you to this beautiful doorway, which is the Akashic records of earth. And they're going to show you a glimpse of looking over humanity and the growth and the blessings, and they just want you to take in and remember why you incarnated. They want you to remember the beautiful blessings that you got from any lifetime, and to just bring it back to earth. So they want you to move through this doorway, and as this doorway opens, it opens onto a beautiful field of light. And this field of light is green, gold, blue, pink. It has many colors. And they want you to walk forward, and there in front of you is Horus and also beloved Isis, and they both greet you from ancient Egypt. And they now walk forward and they touch your shoulder, and they open your heart, and they activate within you now any soul memories from ancient Egypt. And they want you to remember the blessings and the learning and the gifts from your Akashic records or from earth that you can bring into the here and now. So as you feel your third eye open, your heart open, you feel this connection to beloved goddess Isis and Horus, and they work with your energetic field to stimulate and remember and open up to your truth, the highest vibrational energy that you can bring in the here and now. So just feel the eye of Horus being placed around you, and feel Isis touching your heart. And as you walk on this field of light now, Horus and Isis step back, and you walk forward and see two energies of Lemuria. So one is a flower, and there is a flower that sits within your space, and then on the other side is a crystal. And these two images are connected to your lifetime in Lemuria. So as you come up to this flower and this crystal, they merge into one, and they become a pure version of light. And they come within your heart space, and they remind you of the beautiful blessings and memories that you had in Lemuria. And you're just feeling into the energy of Lemuria, the Akashic records, and you just feel into the energy that you could bring forth to help and assist with the evolution of man. And they also want you to feel into the energy of animals and nature, and just all the blessings that Lemuria as a civilization brought to us. There are butterflies and fragrances and sound, just everything in Lemuria that you remember. So you're now being activated to Lemuria. Now you're going back to the Atlantean times. So now you're going back further and see Atlantis, and see a beautiful temple of light on your left and a crystal on your right. And you come up to this lifetime of Atlantis, and these two images are merged into your consciousness, and they remind you of your lifetime in Atlantis. And it just opens up a portal of magic for you, and it just makes you feel so at home. And you just remember all the blessings and all the learning from this lifetime, and you just ask for it to be integrated in the highest light. And you're taken back further to any other civilization. So look around you. What images are popping up for you? Is it an ancient civilization that you lived in the English times? Is it any civilization that you lived in Greece, Rome? There is a particular country that you are being taken back to where you lived a lifetime, and it's really important that you go back here. And they're just asking you to remember, to take in the energy, to just feel into this energy that you can bring forth back into the here and now as the person that you are on earth for the highest good. So now all of this energy is being merged into your consciousness, and you feel so alive. You get it integrated. It's being rebalanced by Metatron, and you feel Commander Ashtar just overlighting the process, making sure you're safe. And he now brings you back to the beginning of time, and he now waves over your energetic field, and you just feel so at peace. And so Metatron now closes the door on the Akashic records, and he brings you back to the stars. And he brings you back down to being just above earth, and you're hovering, and you just feel this connection to earth, and you give thanks. So now this Mekrabar is bringing you back down through the stars, through the earth, through the room, back into your body. And we're now asking you just sit with this energy and just let it integrate into your earth star. So feel your earth star bringing you back to earth, placing your hands on your knees. And we just now ask that the activation occur with divine ease and grace, and that we bring forth only the highest light. And so it is. So just bring yourself back. Hello, welcome back. So that was a quick meditation. It's just to help you to remember the fruits that we gained from those lifetimes. And I'm going to finally end with some Pleiadian energy. And the Pleiadian energy is to just tune into what they would like us to know right now in regards to where we are at. So the first kind of message I'm getting from the Pleiades is connection. Remember to connect with your star family. You can't do it alone. You've got to do it with the love of the star seeds, your star ancestors. So the first message I'm getting from the Pleiades is, this is called the Inner Temple, and it says, life lessons, I go within my shadow for deep spiritual growth. So this is the time where man has been asked to look at their shadow aspects and to learn from the past and to move away from it, not delve so much into it. But there is a fine balance between healing the past and staying in the past. So we've been asked to kind of integrate our shadow side, bring it back into balance with our light side. And the Pleiadians are saying it's possible. We have all the innate power within us to integrate our shadow and light self, to bring in unison, to bring in harmony. Because particularly we're working with our divine masculine and our divine feminine. And because in the Pleiades, they've already mastered that. They don't have a segregation of sexuality. They actually embrace both sides, and they integrate them both quite harmoniously. And so they're saying this is kind of where we're going. And in other lifetimes, we had to learn how to balance them both. And we actually sometimes got stuck in our divine masculine, which is power. And we sometimes got stuck in our divine feminine. So sensuality, we got a bit carried away with it. So we've had extremes of all of our facets of our divine masculine and divine feminine. So the next one is the Empress of the Night. And it says, after the storm, I emerge a shiny new star, the grand finale. So we're in our final stages. We're in our final stages of letting old things go. And it's time to embrace the darkness. It's in time to embrace the night. Because the night side of us is a part of us. It's not separate. It's making peace with that. Making peace that we're always going to have an ego. We're going to have to work with our ego. And eventually it will just lose its power. So it's the aim of life is to just master yourself. Master your I am. And get yourself in balance. It's not about you're going to always be light all the time, because that's just not realistic for a human. The Ascended Masters of White Brotherhood of Light are saying they have all walked our path. They want us to remember that they have been where we are today, and that we are able to become Ascended Masters. The Pleiadian energy, the temple. And it says, I no longer search outside myself for home. It's about returning to your body. Returning and staying anchored in the here and now, not being in such a hurry to go into the future or the past all the time. Because in other civilizations, we actually did not want to stay where we were. We were not settled. We were not satisfied with where we were. We always had to keep going. And what they're saying is enjoy the moment, because in the Palladian energy there's no time or space, so they enjoy every moment of every second of every day, of every micro minute. So it's about enjoying the moment. It's enjoying the vastness of how far we have got to go, not seeing it as an obstacle but seeing it as an opportunity for growth. Palladian energy, please. So this is our Divine Father. This is the Father of the sky. I release the weight of the world from my shoulders. So it's about lifting the heaviness, letting it go. Because the more that we're able to let the heaviness go, it's replaced with light. And in the Pallades there is no duality. There is a balance of it. So it did exist, it no longer exists. And so the Palladians are coming down to help us to integrate our light and shadow side. They're here to help us to bring forth the truth. They're here to help us stand in our truth and our divinity and own it and co-create. Final messages. The moonstone star. And it says, I am entering the portal of euphoric love, passion. The Palladians want us to be passionate about life. They want us to know that this is a journey, that it's not an ending, it's just a beginning. And a passion is an actual positive co-creating experience. It's an energy that we use to move forward in life. It's also with love, but it's also passion for our purpose. It's what drives us. It's the energy of fire. And so they're saying that bring forth your passion. What are you passionate about? The Palladians are asking us to focus on our passion, because in focusing on our passion, we are focusing on our life purpose. So moving forward, the Palladians, one final message please from the Pallades. The Star Mother. Loved. The Universal Mother loves and supports me totally. So loved, the Star Mother, number 31. So the final message from the Pallades is, you are loved. You are loved. You are cherished. You are one of the stars. You are loved by the Great Father and by the Great Mother, the Divine Masculine, the Divine Feminine. And that there is so much growth and beauty and expansion that is coming about for us all. And not to diminish the past, but we can grow from it, we can evolve from it, and we are a part of existence, so we are important. Our final message is from our beautiful star ancestor, one of the greatest, Sanat Kumara, and he is a great light. He activates us all. And he is saying, shine your light. Your internal guidance is coming through loud and clear. So Sanat Kumara is a cosmic being that is a very ancient, old, wise sage. And he is saying that, remember that we are not apart from each other. We are all of us are helping you guys to move forward. You're not alone. Don't try and carry the burden by yourselves. Try and start sharing the load. So all the information, the knowledge, the wisdom, start tapping into it and start sharing it with each other. We all have this purpose with each other. We all have the reason why we're here in this together. And Sanat Kumara is saying, when he activates the light, he needs all of you to be activating your own light as well. So we need to be all standing in our own light for this to work. It can't be one person or 1,000 people on the earth lighting up. It needs to be the whole of humanity. So you don't leave anyone behind. So even though we've got our different frequencies, our light gets activated. We are being activated. Sanat Kumara is saying, if we could show you how many beings are lit up right now, it's a beautiful thing. It's like he's giving me the picture of the fireflies. How many of those beautiful fireflies are us being lit up? And he's reminding us that there are more than ever, remembering our purpose, our calling, our 5D way. Like, don't discount that. Remember that this is courageous. Be that courageous penwa, remember? That flower. Sanat Kumara is also saying that the Akashic records or Shaker records of Earth are being balanced. So humanity has really grown hugely, and that it's a time for man to reap its rewards. It's time for man to enjoy the fruits of their labor. It's time for us to wake up and to enjoy life, and not to be in this sense of urgency all the time, but also not looking back at the past and keep repeating it. So he really is asking us to be empowered to move forward consciously with the energy that we have, and to stand in this truth. So just some final messages. This says here, it says longing for home, homesick from the stars. We are all longing to go home. But what they are saying is we are home. Even though our home or our star home is on another planet, we still can create that safety and that security within ourselves on Earth. Because essentially, when we come to Earth, we carry our ancestors with us, our DNA, our RNA. And they're saying a lot of us are getting like missing our own planets that we originally are from. But they're saying they want us to remember that we always have a purpose for coming here, and that we have other family around us and friends. And it's about opening to your own soul tribe, or your own light tribe, I call it. Commander Ashtar, Earth School again. So it's come up. Remember, this is a school. This is just a big school. If you can put it into those simplistic terms, it takes a lot of pressure off you. And you don't always have to get it right all the time. You're not here like one lifetime you're going to get it 100% perfect. There's always learning. Trust in the timing. Trust in the timing. So, trust the wave you came on. Time is not running out. See, that's just the message I said. Final message is Sanat Kumara. Trust the timing. And final message. Final message, Sanat Kumara. Surrender to the sweetness of life. Beautiful. Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. Surrender to the joy of life. Surrender to the pleasure of life. This almost reminds me of the Lemurian energy, the crystal waters, just relaxing, enjoying all the labor, all the work. Sanat Kumara wants us to enjoy. Sanat Kumara wants us to have fun. Sanat Kumara just wants us to trust. So those are the messages for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I just hope this energy serves you well. Please leave in the comments whether you enjoyed this video or not, what you took home from it. And yes, if you're interested in the Akashic Records healings or integrations, just look at my Facebook page. And take care. Have a beautiful day, everybody. And the light in me sees the light in you. And so it is.